What's up, Chicago? What's up, United States? Perhaps you are tuning in from another country. I don't know where you're coming from right now, but this is Latrice Levitt. I am absolutely excited to be here with you tonight, or today, I'm sorry. Why am I rushing the day? I'm enjoying it, so why did I just rush it? I am your spiritual health and wellness coach, and I have something really good I want to share with you. Now, this is my coffee time. Queen of Kiddom, that's the cup I'm drinking from. Do your cups have personality? My cups have personalities. But here's what I wanted to do today. I wanted to have a conversation with my Facebook friends, my Facebook family. And here's a conversation I wanted to have with you. It is time for us to rebrand my hometown. Probably your hometown. Maybe you know somebody who lives in the hometown. Maybe you have visited the hometown of Chicago. Yeah. How many of y'all are from Chicago that are tuning in right now? Well, God has given me a blessing in that I am from Chicago, but I live in Florida, but I'm always a Chicagoan, right? And because I was born into a situation where I literally was born into a radio station. Well, I was really born at Little Company of Mary Hospital, but my parents' second home was a radio station. And because I grew up in a radio station, WVON to be exact. I have a really deep connection with the people of Chicago. It's kind of like a thing where when you spend your entire life dedicating your time, your energy, your resources, your ideas to a city, to a people, you care about them, because it ain't been all about the money for me. It was just kind of like this life assignment. Well, guess what? Last week, I visited my hometown. And I hadn't been there for quite some time because of the obvious, COVID, right? But I had called my mother, and I had spoken with her briefly just to find out how, things were going. And I didn't like the sound of her voice. So that led me to say, let me go in and check on some things, right? So I have my normal flow when I hit Chicago. I go to my favorite restaurants. I go see my people. I have some special person in my life that I rock with when I was there. But home did not feel like home. Home did not feel like home. The spirit of my home has changed. The environment in my home has changed. And when the spirit of any home has changed, that means that there is something going on that's a little bit deeper than what the news may be reporting on. Now, many people, if you don't live from Chicago, if you're not from Chicago, you may have your own relationship with what you think the city is, what the city is like, right? I remember years ago when I first moved from Chicago, people would say, where are you from? And I would say Chicago, and they would say, oh, the Windy City, because, we are pretty much, we're known for being a cold city, and the wind will blow your ass away in the wintertime. So we're known for bad weather. There was some time when I would say, I'm from Chicago, and they'd be like, oh man, have you ever been to the Oprah Winfrey Show? Have you ever met Oprah? But that was when Oprah was there. Oprah's no longer there. When I said I was from Chicago, they would say, man, the home of President and Barack and Michelle Obama. Yeah, that was what we were known for. But then, I don't know what year it was, but Spike Lee, who I actually like Spike Lee movies, and I like Spike Lee, and I've never met him or any of that, but I just like creative work, and you're not really going to ever hear me tear people down, because I'm not in the business of tearing people down. I'm in the business of watering people. People are like my flowers, and I water them so we can all kind of grow up and become our best selves. But I will say one of the biggest mistakes I think that we ever made in our city is that we allowed for a film to be produced that identified us as a war-based city. The name of the movie was called Chiraq. And because I'm a spiritual health and wellness coach, I understand the power of words. I understand the spirit of words. And that's because at the end of the day, whatever you're going to create, you got to speak it first. You got to feel it. And then, as you speak it and you feel it and you move forth with creating that, you're going to manifest something, right? So our dear friend from our community, Spike Lee, decided that he wanted to tell the story, one story. Not necessarily that it was an important story to tell, because at the end of the day, Chicago has its problems like every other major city, and maybe perhaps ours are more severe for whatever reasons, and I'm not about to get into the weeds around the problems of Chicago, because I'm here to do one thing. I want to change the name of Chicago from Chiraq to something else. And I need your help, because here's the reality of it. I shouldn't be afraid to go home. And not that I was necessarily afraid, but I didn't feel comfortable in my home. You know what I mean? Home is supposed to be something. That's right. Thank you so much, Shirley. Home is supposed to be something that hugs you. Not you running, looking back, you feel like you got to run away. You looking behind your back trying to see if somebody is going to do something that violates your person. It's something wrong with that. And I've never felt this uncomfortable coming back to my home. We got a problem, people, that we can solve. We got a problem, people, that we can solve. And I'm not talking about, we're not about to get on WVON, my family's radio station. I'm tired of talking about the damn problems. That's right. Hey, Renee, I'm tired of talking about the problems. You guys know the problems. We all know the damn problems. How do we solve the problems? That's my question. Let's do this together. Let's first start with changing the name. Because now when I tell people I'm from Chicago, do you know what they say to me? You mean Chiraq? Chiraq. Do you want your home to be associated with war, terrorism? Do you want your home to be known for killing people? Do you want your home to be known for destruction and violence? Is it helping us to be named Chiraq? Now, Spike Lee ain't got to deal with the damn name because he lives in New York. And he didn't name New York a bad name. It has its problems. But life and death are in the power of the tongue. And what I'm simply saying to you, while historically Chicago, like all other cities, has had its problems, we are under the curse of the name Chiraq. That is not who we are. That is not who we are supposed to be. And this generation who is now living and navigating this city, their identity is associated with Chiraq. Are we really happy about this? Or are we so numb to it that it's just another bad thing and we're just trying to get through life and not necessarily dealing with it? Ladies and gentlemen, we must pause. We must take a moment to figure out, what can we do to start changing the reality in Chicago? Now, you may or may not be from there. Maybe you visited. Maybe you lived there and moved away. Maybe you watched Oprah Winfrey's show or went to a Bulls game or saw a concert there or came and enjoyed Garrett's popcorn or had Uno's pizza. We have produced so much for not just this country, but for this world. See, Chicago, and the reason why I am passionate about this, because we are forgetting about who we are. And if you don't know who you are, then you will unfortunately let somebody else tell you who you are and then be cursed by the name they give you, Chiraq. Chiraq. So there is a generation, unfortunately, of misguided, misled people people who are living up to the name of Chiraq. So this conversation actually stemmed from a conversation I had from a good sister friend of mine who used to work at WVON, Miss Monique Caradine Kitchens. You guys probably know who Mo is, and if not, go on Facebook. She has a beautiful Facebook community called Sisternomics, right? So if you a boss in the business, if you a woman that's about, learning how to become economically solvent, go and join Monique's group, okay? But Monique was working for my family's radio station when she was like a teenager, right? And I was around there, and we became sisters over the years, right? And she had visited her family, and I had asked her what was her experience when she visited Chicago to go see her family she said 2 weeks ago. And she was like, it was good when I visited my family, but I went down on Roosevelt Road to do what, a lot of times we do. Go grab a Polish sausage, right? How many of y'all still going down there grabbing Polish sausages? And she said she was afraid because her son, who is a teenager, he left Chicago when he was 10 years old, but she was watching her back. She was, she just felt this fear. And I said, Monique, there's something wrong with this. She said, I agree. I said, because let me just share with you guys, because we got to, I'm going somewhere here. My family, like many families that are in Chicago, is from the South. We're originally from Mississippi. How many of you all have family members that migrated in the 50s and 60s to Chicago from Mississippi, from Arkansas, from somewhere in the South, right? And the spirit of the town was so loving. My mother told me her earliest memory of growing up in Chicago was this. There is a park on the south side of Chicago, Washington Park, near DeSable Museum. Y'all know where I'm talking about, right? Over by the University of Chicago. Well, just like many families, my family came from Mississippi, and they were poor, right? They were just looking for opportunities to work and get paid, because before they were working and they got fruit at Christmas because, they were sharecroppers or something like that. Or they were picking cotton and making like 50 cents a week. It was something that they were being controlled, manipulated, terrorized, and y'all know the history. So they ended up coming to Chicago looking for greater opportunities. And at that time, Chicago was bustling with opportunities for people of color. My parents were living in a building that was cut up in a whole bunch of squares. Wasn't quite the projects, but probably from there they built the projects. But anyway, they were living in a small apartment complex. No, a big complex, but a small apartment. It was 5 of them in the same room. And during the summertime, they didn't have air conditioning. So guess what they did, folks? This is what Chicago used to be. Let me tell you who we started out. They would go, where we started out, they would go to Washington Park and sleep in the middle of the night, and nothing happened to them. That's where they spent their summers, sleeping in the park, because it was too hot in their apartment. Plus it was 5 of them, so even if it wasn't hot, probably y'all know how kids are. Somebody must have peed on somebody in the bed, who knows? But they would go to Washington Park and sleep. Do you know, if you go out to Washington Park today, during the day, you may have a little problem, but you certainly can't be sleeping at night. Even if you're homeless, you might have a problem. What happened between the 1950s and today? Can I tell you, the spirit of the city, which are the people, the spirit of the people have changed. Our people, Chicagoans, it has changed. Why? Chicago is lacking a lot of love. That is what is the big problem. But that may be too much for us to chew on right now. I understand. We gotta get there. You know, that's a big old deal, but it really isn't. But you know, some people are like, oh no, we lacking opportunities and jobs and money. Let me just tell y'all, stop treating the damn symptoms of your problem. Let's get down to the root. You're lacking love. We're lacking love. And when you don't have a spirit of love, then you're operating with another spirit or several other spirits. But at the root of, at the opposite of love is fear. And it's a city filled with fear. It is a city filled with fear. And fear is acting out in all of its many dangerous ways. All right? Now, as a spiritual health and wellness coach, in the work that I do, I help people to create high vibrational environments. What is a high vibration environment? Okay, everything is spiritual, y'all. Okay, every single thing is spiritual. And if you're religious, you probably not gonna believe. This is probably not gonna resonate with you. But hopefully you stick around so you can learn something. Because we are spiritual. Let me just explain something to you. You have to elevate the vibration in order to change the problem, okay? We have to elevate our thinking in order to change the problem. We have to we have to change the heart condition, meaning change our feelings, how we see things to change Chicago. We have to heal this house in order for us to truly unite. See, here's what I realized, that this generation, and I'm speaking of me, I'm speaking about everybody on the planet right now. Everyone who is looking at me right now, let me tell you what we're missing that our ancestors had. Unity. They had unity. They may not have had big fancy cars. They may not have had big elaborate homes. They didn't obviously have checking accounts or savings accounts and 401ks and all of the accoutrements of life that we are offered right now. But they had a spiritual alignment that was more powerful than anything any of us have right now. Because if you have all of this and you don't have love, the word of God says you ain't got nothing. You really don't. You got a bunch of problems. So as I'm moving through Chicago this last weekend, in Bronzeville, which is where I used to live and where my parents originally grew up, and I was feeling the spirit of my city. I was feeling, and I'm an empathic person. What does empathic mean? Empathic means I walk around like a damn X-ray. I don't see you, I see inside of you. I don't see the situation, I see behind the walls of the situation. That's how I solve problems. That's what spiritual health and wellness coaches, if you really rocking with a spiritual health and wellness coach, that's how we solve problems. I solve it at the core. And at the core of where my home is, my home, the place where God birthed, where I was birthed, the place where my family's business has been touching lives for nearly 60 years, the place where I have been able to grow up and go to school and enjoy life, the place that I love so much, it's under spiritual attack because the love is not there. The love is not there. We're going to have, let me see, a lot of people share the same sentiments, but who will generally listen to the truth from people they don't like or love? Well, that's a great question, Rachel. Let me say something too. Let me respond to that. We ain't gonna have no other choice in a minute, because based on the spiritual nature of what I was feeling, we're gonna have to grow up because our people are going to perish for lack of this knowledge. So I'm not here, quite frankly. God didn't put it on my responsibility. It's not my responsibility to make people listen. It's my responsibility to share the information and invite you to look at things differently. You know what I mean? And I also hold a space for people who might reject this, because the reason why people reject love in the first place, because they so hurt. You know how many people have been manipulated and traumatized by someone who loved them? See, people are afraid of love because some love, it was never love in the first place. It was manipulation. It was deception. And they called it love. And so people are even confused about the healing ointment that we need most in our world, whether it's in Chicago, whether it's down here in Orlando, whether it's any place in the world right now. But specifically for Chicago, this is where we have to start. I want us to change our name, because the name by itself is so powerful that if we disassociate and divorce ourselves from Chiraq, you see how powerful that is? Chiraq. Well, first thing you think about, Chiraq, you think about war. You think about fighting. You think about violence, because that's what Iraq is associated with. And maybe Iraq, y'all need to change your name too. So I'm never going to bring a problem to you without a solution. Because when I spoke with Monique and I had this conversation, and I said, Monique, listen, I came up with a name that God put on my spirit a couple of weeks ago, and I want to introduce you to it. She said, what is it, Latrice? I said, what about Shy Love? She said, Shy Love. She said, you know what? I'm feeling that. Shy Love. I said, that's what the hell we need. Chicago needs love. And if we get back to how we were before, let me just tell y'all, all of that stuff that's happening will have to bow down, because perfect love casts out fear. Now, what we have to do is learn how to operationalize perfect love. I'm not talking about the love where I love you, boo, and then you talking about somebody behind their back. Or I love you, and then you hating on them. Or I love you, and then next week we fall out over. I'm talking about some perfect love. I ain't talking about fake love. Because there's some fake love out here. Like there's a Jesus and there's a fake Jesus. I don't worship fake Jesus. I don't worship him. I don't follow him. But here's what I'm simply saying. If we start to change, we can change our identity if we divorce the name that someone gave us that has really cursed our city. I'm telling you guys, we are cursed by the name. And then Chicago itself is not anything to be proud of. Do y'all know Chicago means a funky city? It's a funky skunk. That's what Chicago is. It's some old, listen. If everybody else can change their name, then we can change Chicago's name. And when we change the name, we can change the spirit of the land. See, let me share something that I experienced when I was at home. It was probably around 10 o'clock at night. I just finished having dinner, and me and a really great friend of mine were traveling down the Dan Ryan Expressway. And guys, I ain't never felt this being at home. I can't even say I've ever felt this way in my life. All of a sudden, I felt a spirit come. I felt a spirit come over me that was so strong traveling down that Dan Ryan Expressway. Because you got to understand, I'm deeply connected because WVON have been broadcasting in these homes my entire lifetime. So from the years of serving at our events, for the years of being at the concerts, for the years of, participating with working with black businesses or other businesses in Chicago, I'm connected to y'all. Y'all my family. And that connection is authentic and real. And because I'm empathic, I can feel energy. I could feel the dark principalities over the land. And I went into prayer like no other. I went into prayer as I was passing by 63rd Street, which is where my family is from. Don't get it twisted. My family grew up down in Bronzeville, Then had a home in Inglewood, so I'm all over it. Then we had 83rd Street, okay? So I was praying through that. Then we have relationships with people all throughout the land. You hear me? I was praying over that city, unlike asking God for healing, for restoration. I was repenting about the things that we have done to our community. See, if you're gonna change something, you gotta participate and take a responsibility for why it went down. Even if you had nothing thoroughly, even if you didn't have much to do with it. See, I don't care just about my child, I care about your children. I don't care about my family, I care just about my family, I care about your family. And at the end of the day, I know the power of alignment, because what made Chicago a great city in the first place was the alignment of our people at the time. When you can go out and sleep in Washington Park and no one bothers you, violates you, that's called, we had self-respect. And when you respect yourself, you're not going to think about hurting or violating nobody else. We had dignity, pride. Well, wait, I'm sorry. That's not a spirit I want to necessarily promote. But what I'm saying, pride can be a dangerous thing to promote. But what I'm saying is we had love at the heart of who we are, at the heart of who we were, at the heart of who our community was. Pretty much at that time, what we were birthing was unity and love and activism. We are a city that have birthed brilliance and brokenness at the same time. And I am proud to say I'm from Chicago, which is why I'm here. And I'm coming to you because even if you don't live there, I'm sure there was an artist that produced the song out of Chicago that you enjoyed. Maybe you participated in coming to the Taste of Chicago over the years. I don't know maybe you enjoyed the art museums, or you enjoyed our lakefront. I don't know what may have attracted you, but we need you right now to join hearts with us, to join in spirit with us, to see a new vision of where we could be, of who we could become. And the first thing we must do, we got to divorce Chiraq. The second thing we must do, we need to come up with a new name. And I think the name that we should have is Shy Love, because having love is so powerful that even when you say it, it's hard to violate it. I'm from a city from Shy Love. You look like a fool trying to shoot somebody and you from Shy Love. And maybe if we can live up to Chiraq, we can live up to Shy Love. So if you are from Chicago and this is making sense to you, and you're tired of being afraid, you're tired of all the violence, you're tired of the problems, you really want to change, you don't want to move away, you want to stay there and raise your kids, you want to feel safe, we got to create that in mind, in heart, and spirit, and use the word and speak life. Speak life into your home. If you had a home, right now people are buying homes everywhere, and there are a lot of people who are upgrading their homes. There are people who are buying and flipping, and guess what? It's a remodeling process. Remodel a home. It's time to remodel Chicago. But it starts with having a new vision for yourself. The mayor can't do that for you, or no other elected official. And if we do it for ourselves, we can hold them accountable to make sure they uphold our vision. Am I going anywhere? Anybody? Are y'all agreeing with me? Can somebody give me some thumbs up, some hearts, some, something? Just let me know if you're feeling this or not. But here's what I want to say to you. Whether you give me a heart, a thumbs up, or nothing, this is coming from my heart. I love Chicago. And I love the people of this town. And I want to thank you for all that you have done to support my family's business, to support me or anyone I love. And I hope we've done a good job helping to give something back to you. And if we haven't, then forgive us, for we are not perfect. Lord, forgive us, for we know not what we have done. But that has nothing to do with anything because we're all in this together. Let's divorce Chiraq because it's not working out well for us. Let's adopt a new name, create a new identity, one that lines up with what we really want. We all want love, safety, and security. And our home needs it now more so than ever. And if you have ever been to our city or if you've ever wanted to come, I'm going to invite you to become a part of it with me. Everybody, I'm feeling good about this. I'm feeling excited about this. When people ask you where you're from, say I'm from Love. Change the game. Where you from? I'm from Love. And then they're going to ask you, when did y'all change your name? We changed it when we decided that we're not living up to Chiraq anymore. Okay? You're from Love. You hear me? Where you from, people? I'm from Love. Where you from, people? You from Love. All right? And from my heart to yours, I say thank you for that. Everybody likes, as Oprah said, everybody likes to be validated. Thank you for thumbs up. Thank you. All right, bye, everybody. I hope you enjoy Love this weekend. Be safe. Hold a higher vision. Let's make our home the heart of this country, Love. And we can say that we made it great again. Okay? If anybody gonna make Chicago great again, baby, it's gonna be us. Because it was us who found it in the first place. All right, y'all. You know I love you. Bye-bye. Oh, and by the way, I forgot. I'm not into self-promotion today, but just in case you want to know who I am, visit arealsister.com. A real sister, not a real sister, SISTER. I'm everybody's sister. All right, see you later. Love you guys.